Hello everyone. Today I wanted to talk about one of those things that I like to get hyper specific and nerdy about that I think all my students know and probably want me to shut up about. But today we're going to talk about breathing, specifically how it is all about the inhale. So I know, again, that sounds hyper specific, but let's talk about that for a second. So quick refresher on your singing breathing, which you should already know. If you don't, there should be another video a little further back. I definitely have a few blog posts on my website, Caveness Voice, about proper singing breathing, right? But we know that when we're breathing properly for singing, we're using our diaphragms, right? And our diaphragm is this dome-shaped muscle that sits right here under your sternum. And in order to use your diaphragm, or make sure that you're actually using your diaphragm when you're breathing, is that you want to make sure that when you take your inhale, your belly is inflating as you take your inhale, and then it's going to slowly come back in and up as you exhale. Let us do it together. Inhale, belly will inflate. Exhale, your belly comes back in and up. So what's actually happening right there with your diaphragm? What's actually happening is that as you inhale, the diaphragm is contracting and it's actually pushing downwards, which is why your belly is inflating, okay? And then as you're exhaling, it's relaxing and it's returning back up to its high position. So something that I see a lot with some of my students is that everybody knows theoretically how to breathe and they're thinking, yeah, sure, I've got this. I know I'm breathing correctly. And then when we actually take a look, what I'm seeing is a lot of this chest coming up as they're inhaling, or the shoulders coming up as they're inhaling. No, we don't want any of that. These guys have to stay. Get those nice long necks. You want that elongated neck. Keeping the chest down, right? We don't want the chest lifting. We don't want the shoulders rising. Or my personal favorite, which is the belly is actually coming in, and then as you start making your sound, it pushes out as you start making your sound, which is like a total, your belly is just completely cheating and you may not even realize it. So basically, the reason that I say that it's all about the inhale is because it's really super important that you're making sure that when you are taking your inhale, that you are keeping yourself honest and you are really checking in, whether you're doing this in front of a mirror or you're literally putting your hand on your belly and you're looking down at it, right? The breath is one of the only visual pieces of the singing instrument, right? So take advantage of that. Take a look at your belly, go to a mirror and look, right? There's not much we can see obviously going on in here as we're singing, which can make singing such an intangible instrument. But this is one of those pieces that you actually have a visual aid, so use it. So making sure that when you're taking those inhales, that your belly is actually inflating. And again, I can't overstate this enough. I know I sound like a broken record. But making sure that the belly is inflating as you take that inhale, not the chest, right, which is just a shallow inhale. You can already hear I feel sort of short of breath, and not the shoulders going up to your ears. Simply put, if your chest is lifting or your shoulders are popping all the way up to your ears as you're inhaling, or your belly is coming in as you inhale, it is wrong. I know that sounds harsh. Take that in for a minute. Simply put, if any of those things are happening as opposed to the belly inflating on your inhale, it's the wrong kind of inhale. And so what do I mean when I say it's the wrong kind of inhale? To me, the reason I think the inhale is such an important moment in your singing, breathing, and therefore how your sound is going to come out is because you're literally setting up your instrument, right? To me, it's less about how much air you're taking in, right? Yes, if you're using your diaphragm, your chest cavity is expanding and you're getting more room for the lungs to get a little bit more air, right? So you are getting a little bit more air. It's definitely a more efficient breath. But to me, what I think is more important is not so much the quantity of air that is coming in, but the quality of how you've set up all these other pieces of your instrument, right? So a couple really important things are happening when you breathe properly. One, you are setting up the whole breathing apparatus to work the way it's designed to, right? So there's a lot that's actually going on with your breath, right? And not to overwhelm you and have you thinking about too many things, but there's a lot that's going on when you're doing your singing breathing, right? We've got the lungs involved, obviously. We've got the diaphragm involved, but the other pieces that are working are the rib cage are actually helping. That's part of your breathing apparatus. your abdominal muscles, some of your back muscles. So there's a lot of pieces in just that one piece of your instrument. And so we want to make sure that we're setting that up for success so it's working the way it's designed to, right? Your body knows how to breathe properly. You just have to kind of maybe police those inhales a little bit and make sure that you're getting the right inhale. The other way that it's super, super crucial that you're breathing in this way down here with the diaphragm and the belly as opposed to the chest and shoulders is that when I take a really shallow chest breath, you can notice that already my neck and throat muscles are tight and compressed, and I'm speaking in a really shallow fashion, and I don't feel like that's going to give me much mileage whatsoever. And spoiler alert, it's not going to, right? It's not going to give you much to go on. So the other piece that makes this inhale really important is that you're physically setting up the neck and throat muscles to not come out of the gate already tensing and already, compressing and wanting to squeeze or push. The neck and throat muscles are, in my opinion, the biggest source of tension and stress and strain that I see in people when they're singing. And a lot of the time with singing, it's not always the exact problem that is the root of the problem, if that makes sense. So a lot of the time, we need to go a little bit deeper and see what the root is. And frequently I find that the first place I go to look at with people to clean up, if they're coming to me with vocal strain and tension, any kind of vocal issues of producing their sound, is that we want to look at how they're breathing, specifically how they're inhaling, right? And it sounds hyper-specific. It sounds kind of boring. I get that breathing is not the sexiest part of singing. I totally get it. But it's really important that you're making sure that you're setting up your instrument correctly from the get-go, right? And you're not setting yourself up for a bunch of strain and tension in your neck and throat that's going to be really hard to offload when you're already singing in a phrase. So how are you going to implement this at home? Since I can't be there, especially now during COVID era, to police you and be the vocal drill sergeant that we all know and hopefully love, you have to really keep yourself honest, right? When you're taking those breaths at the tops of your phrases, when you're coming in for your scales or coming in singing your songs, you got to really make sure that you're taking that quick inhale and it's really going to the belly, right? Some really helpful breathing exercises. I'll post some more videos with some more specific breathing exercises, but setting a timer maybe a few times during the week or before you do your practice sessions, making sure that you set aside some time to really check in with your breathing apparatus. I keep saying that, it's not so clinical, but it's also kind of fun and nerdy sounding. So checking in with your breath support, right? So maybe setting a timer for 10 minutes, laying on the ground, putting a book on your belly, and making sure that when you do those inhales, that book is going to rise, and then it's going to fall slowly as you exhale, and we will talk more about that in another video, a lot of videos to do. But making sure that you're doing that, you can time your inhales, so you can try to do a 5-count inhale, 10-count exhale and a hissing sound, right? Trying to slowly manage the book dropping back in, and then you can extend that. You can try to work your way up to 10 counts to inhale, 20 counts to exhale and a hiss. I know that sounds like a lot, but you'll actually be surprised when you're breathing properly how much air you have at your disposal. So making sure that you're checking in with your breath. Again, I know it's not the most exciting part, but it will really do you a lot of good if you want to have strong vocals, if you want to get to the root of maybe some strain and tension or vocal issues. A good place to start is looking at cleaning up your breath support. And remember, it's all about the inhale. All right, my dears, I will see you again soon. Happy breathing, happy belly breathing, and I will talk to you soon.